2050, the United States will have more old people than children. Whites will be a minority, and coal will be replaced by the sun and the wind. Is this a dream or a nightmare? Let's find out. America in 2050. The United States in 2050 will be a nation transformed. From the composition of its people to the sources of its energy, nearly every aspect of American life will look different from today. While no one can predict the future with complete certainty, demographers, climate scientists, economists, and urban planners have painted a remarkably clear picture based on current trends. This essay explores the most likely shape of America in 2050 across 4 key dimensions: population, climate and energy, economy and technology, and society and daily life. The most fundamental change in America by 2050 will be its people. The US population is projected to reach 371 million, up from 331 million in 2020. However, this growth will be the slowest in the nation's history. In fact, after 2038, deaths are expected to outnumber births for the first time. This means that immigration will become the sole driver of population growth. The aging of the population will be dramatic. By 2050, nearly 1 in 4 Americans, 22%, will be 65 years or older, compared to just 16% today. For the first time, older adults will outnumber children under 18. This shift will place enormous pressure on healthcare systems, social security, and the labor force. With fewer young workers entering the job market, automation and robotics will fill many roles, from warehouse logistics to customer service. Racially and ethnically, America will become a majority-minority nation. Non-Hispanic whites, who made up nearly 70% of the population in 2000, will drop to less than 50% by 2050. Hispanic, Asian, Black, and multiracial Americans will together form the new majority. 1 in 3 Americans will be foreign-born or have at least one immigrant parent. This diversity will be most visible in the South and West, where most population growth will occur. States like Texas, Florida, and California will continue to swell, while many rural counties in the Midwest and Northeast will see population declines. By 2050, the United States aims to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Whether it fully succeeds or not, the energy landscape will be unrecognizable from today. Solar and wind power will dominate electricity generation, having grown 4-fold and 3-fold respectively from 2020 levels. Coal will be virtually extinct, preserved only in a few historical sites. Natural gas, once hailed as a bridge fuel, will be in rapid decline. Transportation will be almost entirely electric. Gasoline-powered cars will be rare curiosities kept by collectors or museums. Electric vehicles, EVs with autonomous driving capabilities, will be the norm. Long-haul trucking, buses, and even short-haul flights will increasingly rely on batteries or hydrogen fuel cells. The nation's highway rest stops will be replaced by high-speed charging plazas with solar canopies. But the transition will come at a cost. Between 2022 and 2050, the US will need to invest an estimated $41 trillion in its energy infrastructure. That means new transmission lines, grid-scale batteries, hydrogen production facilities, and carbon capture plants. Electricity prices may remain higher than today's rates, though improved efficiency will offset some of the burden. Climate change itself will reshape where and how Americans live. Sea levels will have risen by several inches to over a foot, making coastal flooding a regular occurrence in cities like Miami, Charleston, and Norfolk. Some low-lying neighborhoods will have been abandoned or converted to parkland. The Southwest will experience longer and more intense droughts, while the Midwest faces more frequent flooding and heat waves. Wildfire season in California and the Rocky Mountains will last most of the year. Air conditioning, once a luxury, will be a life-saving necessity across much of the country. The American economy in 2050 will be more automated, more service-oriented, and more unequal unless deliberate policies intervene. Artificial intelligence will have replaced millions of jobs in routine cognitive work accounting, legal research, customer service, and even some areas of medicine. However, new jobs will emerge in AI supervision, renewable energy installation, elder care, and creative industries. Remote work, which exploded in the 2020s, will be permanent. Between 30% and 40% of workers will operate from home or from local co-working spaces. This has hollowed out many downtown office districts, which have been converted into mixed-use neighborhoods with housing, parks, and small shops. The 1 5-minute city, where residents can meet most needs within a short walk or bike ride, will be a common planning goal. Agriculture will have transformed dramatically. Traditional open-field farming will have declined due to unpredictable weather and water shortages. In its place, vertical farms and controlled environment agriculture will produce fresh vegetables and fruits near urban centres. Meat consumption will have dropped significantly, replaced by plant-based alternatives and lab-grown meat. The cattle ranches of the Great Plains will be smaller but more specialised. Healthcare will be the largest and fastest growing sector. With 22% of the population over 65, demand for geriatric care, home health aides, and telemedicine will be enormous. Medical AI will assist in diagnosis and treatment planning, but human caregivers will remain essential for companionship and complex decision-making. Daily life in 2050 America will feel both futuristic and strangely familiar. Most homes will have smart systems that manage energy use, security, and shopping. Refrigerators will order groceries automatically. Walls will be interactive screens for work and entertainment. Robots will vacuum floors, mow lawns, and even provide basic companionship for isolated seniors. Education will be highly personalized. Artificial intelligence will create custom learning plans for each student, while human teachers focus on mentorship, creativity, and social skills. The traditional classroom will still exist, but many students will learn partly from home or at community learning centers. The school calendar, once designed around an agricultural economy, will have been replaced by year-round schedules. Political life will remain contentious. The demographic and economic shifts of the first half of the century will have created new fault lines. Urban-rural divides may deepen as cities become more diverse and liberal, while rural areas grow older, whiter, and more conservative. However, younger generations raised in a multicultural, climate-conscious, technologically immersed world may forge new coalitions that cut across old boundaries. Social safety nets will have expanded. The labour shortages caused by an ageing population and low birth rates will force businesses and government to compete for workers. This will likely lead to higher wages, more generous benefits, and increased immigration. Universal healthcare, which remained elusive in the 2020s and 2030s, may finally become reality by 2050 due to economic necessity. Housing will be both more expensive and more innovative. In growing Sunbelt cities, high-density apartments and townhouses will replace sprawling suburbs. In shrinking Rust Belt towns, abandoned neighborhoods will be converted into community gardens, solar farms, and nature preserves. 3D, printed homes, made from recycled materials, will provide affordable housing in some areas. Of course, not all changes will be positive. Inequality could worsen if automation benefits capital owners more than workers. Climate disasters, hurricanes, floods, fires, heat waves will continue to cause billions in damages and displace millions of Americans. Political polarization may intensify as different regions adapt to change at different speeds. And global events, wars, pandemics, or economic collapses could derail even the best-laid plans. Moreover, the psychological toll of constant change should not be underestimated. Many Americans will feel nostalgia for a simpler, slower, cooler, and less crowded past. Mental health services will be in high demand as people struggle with eco-anxiety, social disconnection, and the relentless pace of technological change. The United States in 2050 will be older, more diverse, more urban, and more technologically integrated than ever before. It will have largely decarbonized its energy system, electrified its transportation, and automated much of its work. Yet it will still grapple with inequality, climate vulnerability, and political division. In many ways, 2050 America will be a test case for whether a large, diverse, democratic nation can manage a planned transition to a sustainable future. One thing is certain, the America of 2050 will not be the America of 2020. Those who adapt best learning new skills, embracing diversity, reducing their carbon footprint, and building community will thrive. Those who resist change may find themselves left behind. The choices made in the next 2 decades will determine whether this transformed America is also a better one.